Little student spotlight today. We have the infamous, everyone here should know, Tim. He is our head coach here at Rental Property Pro. He is a student that came through the program. Super stoked to have him, number one, as part of the team, but even more, have him on this call. He has just grown and grown and grown on a weekly, monthly basis from, working his 9 to 5 to then starting his own construction company to being my lead project manager, as well as doing projects for other people. And then in addition to that, obviously growing his rental property portfolio. But I won't steal all his thunder. I'd like to welcome Tim to the group. And man, just share a little bit about like what you do and kind of how you got here and what got you interested in real estate investing.
Cool. Thanks for having me. As always, I love this program and I love teaching and being a part of the coaching staff as well. It's just been amazing for me. And so thank you for all that, John. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so first off, real estate has paid for all of the most important things in both mine and my wife's lives, right? So fast forward 12 years ago, we owned a duplex and we lived in half and rented out. So it was a house hack situation, right?
Yeah, I'll
And
sack it.
yeah, I mean, and that extra income allowed us to adopt our son, Derek. So he's our oldest son, and also put my wife through college. Like she went through
That's
nursing
awesome.
school, and yeah, we would have never been able to do that without that income from the other half of the duplex, right? So,
Wow.
and it had its challenges, of course. All rentals do, but man, the cash flow, was everything. That
Yeah.
really helped us go through, to college. Then fast forward some years down the road and we're married now and all that stuff. And we said, hey, let's have some kids, right? Let's try to have some kids of our own. And for those who don't know, my wife can't carry children, right? So we had to have a surrogate situation. So we sold the duplex, right? Like I know what you're going to say. You sold the duplex. But
Sometimes you got to.
hey, that duplex paid for all of the most important things in our life. One property, right? Put my wife through
Crazy.
college, adopted our son, allowed us to afford a surrogate situation, guys. Like, if you don't know, that ain't cheap. Like, just so
Yeah.
you know, like, that is very expensive to do, even if it's a friend that's doing it for you. It's still very expensive. So, we were able to accomplish all that. And then I started on the fix and flip journey kind of right like went right from that duplex, selling that duplex because we did some work on it before we sold it, John. I mean, we
Oh yeah.
performed a renovation and then we sold it for a nice profit, had our children with it, and then I saw that the writing on the wall and I loved it and I just was like, this is what I want to do. So we did some fix and flips, made a couple hundred and then we're like, let's get more rentals, right? Like let's get back into the rental thing. It was the best thing ever for us. So we found John Blackburn and rental property, and the rest is history from there. So
I love it. And so you were always working at 9 to 5, like through that entire process, right?
correct. Yep.
And yep. And you still are, right?
I still technically do, guys, but I got to tell you, like, I got a foot and a half out the door, right? Like,
You're close.
there's
You're
like a
close,
toe
man.
holding on, and it's just because, I've got all these things I'm trying to grow and build, and I did a lot at once, so I'm just getting over
Yep.
the hump on that. And as soon as that's
Yep.
done, like, I could technically leave that job today, but for the sake of my children, I don't. You know what I mean? Like, because I just want to be able to afford all the nice little niceties that we're kind of used to being able to
Yep.
afford. And I know that if I leave that salary right now, it's like it'll tighten that belt up a little bit. So, but we're ready. I mean, the construction company is growing, and we're making some good bids on stuff now, and obviously being the project management for you and the coaching. So we're right there, man. I mean, we technically could leave today, but I like money. Yeah, what can I say?
Yeah, I get it. For those out there who are, younger or don't have like the family aspect and are kind of out there doing this themselves or, just with a significant other, like, Tim, when you have a full family, right? Like it's hard to make that sacrifice. It's hard to think about, walking away from a job and, knowing that eventually you're going to get back to that income level, but that 6 or 12 months that it takes to sacrifice, like you kind of feel that, like you're like, oh man, I really don't want to do that. And that can add some extra pressure. It's a lot easier to do it if you didn't have that factor, but I can completely understand why you're like, oh, yeah, we could definitely survive, but I still want the extra couple grand a month that we can use to go on vacations
Go
or,
to Disney World,
have the
I mean,
niceties, right? Yeah.
exactly, So I got 4-year-olds, a 7-year-old. We wanna bring them places and do stuff. So,
Life
but we're
isn't
almost
cheap.
there. Yeah, it's not, but we're almost there either way. And honestly, I'm in a position there where I'm basically the CFO of the building. So, they need me more than I need them. So it's a pretty good position to be in right now. So,
It's
but
not a
anyways,
bad thing. Not a
look out
bad
for me,
thing.
guys, to be full time, doing a lot more coaching, guys. Probably the later on this year is really my goal. So, John, I honestly, yeah, I'm working the 9 to 5, but I hope the hope is that this is it. This is really the last summer that I'll be working officially as a W-2 employee, and so there we go. You might see
I
me on
love
more
it, man.
coaching calls. Yeah.
I feel like every time we have the conversation, I get you closer to the edge, right? You talk yourself into it just a little bit more. So we'll keep that conversation going. Now, obviously, I would assume that you guys bought your initial duplex that you had talked about because, it was probably the first house that you and your wife bought, and you were looking for a way to not have to pay the mortgage payment. Is that right?
Totally, man. House hack.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning. My wife is very smart. She always wanted to do real estate as well. And she,
Okay.
really, really kind of started with her, believe it or not. And then, with my background in kind of some good construction and facility management, and then coupled with the accounting, was like, it just was a no brainer. And I fell in
Yep.
love with the process and the whole, even just being the landlord from this, I love it. Not everybody does. You hear a lot of naysayers out there. Oh, landlording is blah, blah, blah. None of those people are going to help you reach your goals, right? And all of them have
Yep.
no idea. So hear somebody who's actually doing it. It's the best thing you'll ever do, right? I mean, it's mailbox money, that's, it's never, there's always something to do. There's always, a issue to maybe, maintain, but in comparison to working 40 hours, oh my God. I mean,
Way better.
there is no comparison. Yeah. So
Yeah. And you brought something up about, your wife, like her being behind the idea of doing a house hack and, her kind of putting her input. Like, I know how much you work and I know how much, is going into what you're trying to create right now. Kind of talk about the importance of having your significant other on board with you and kind of how you guys work together to kind of create this new reality of being a full-time investor.
what an amazing question, right? Like, because and to put her up on the biggest pedestal as I possibly could. I mean, she, you know, I the person that you choose for your significant other in your life is the biggest decision you'll ever make. All right, it's
Yep.
bigger than any house you'll ever buy. It is, and we all know this, and sometimes we discover this, but at the end of the day, like you hear other people saying it that without the right partner, you're going to go nowhere, right? And
Yeah.
whether that's true or not, I mean, everybody's an individual and works at their own pace and hard. But I got to tell you, if it weren't for my wife in the background doing everything that she is, taking care of the kids when I can't be there because I'm out working, I'm out on a job site and stuff like that. I mean, she still works a full-time job too as a nurse. And I got to tell you, we both, like if we weren't on the same page at every step of this way, like we couldn't do this, right? And she
Yeah.
understands what I'm trying to accomplish here, and she gets like the fact that I'm working extra hours outside of my W-2. I mean, it's not that bad, but it is. It can be.
Yeah.
So, and you know how much I work. I do work a lot. I throw myself into this, and at the end of the day, you it's been essential, right? She's a partner not just in life but in the business side of things too. And if for anybody listening to this who has a spouse that's involved in this, make sure you guys talk about it. Have a monthly meeting, all right, and talk about
Huge.
the state of, yeah, it is, it's really huge. Talk about the state of the business, what's happening, bounce ideas off each other. And it doesn't need to be anything like super formal, but try to carve that time out so that you're always both on that same page. Because look, we got 4 kids, jobs and side businesses, all these things. So essentially for us, was the most essential thing for us was communication, right? And staying in
Yep.
communication with each other and knowing that we're both working towards this goal together is just huge. So great question, man. She's amazing. She's my rock. She's my everything. And the kids are our why. Like
Yeah.
you need a strong why to keep you through the tough times. Because no matter how good of an investor you are, there's
What if
challenges, right?
what if you don't have that though? Like what if you what if you kind of just solo dolo in a situation and you got to be your own rock through everything, and you kind of like just starting from ground up, like you don't have nothing, you don't have good credit, you don't have a way to really get the funding to get where you want to go to get everything started. You get what I'm saying? And you still like basically, I'm not gonna say living paycheck to paycheck, but
Listen, it's
just
hard to be
just
poor.
barely making it.
So that sounds like my man Sylvester. I just could tell by the voice. Anyway, but
What's up, Tim? How you
hey,
doing? You know
what's
I
up,
go
man?
pop
I
some
miss you.
questions off you.
I miss you, man.
Listen,
Listen,
my bad. I'm sorry to cut you off for the
nah,
question,
you're
but
good.
yeah, I had to go a little MIA for you off
It's
for a
all
little
good,
minute.
man.
Yeah, I had to go get a few things together and stuff like that. Remember, I told you I was working on getting my credit together. I had actually just got a promotion in my job. I'm a general manager now.
Nice.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
and I still rent cars.
And you're still doing the rental thing, so
I'm
let's get back
still
on
doing
some
the rental
calls, man.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
still got to
we were
go
right
though.
there. We were close. We were about to close on some stuff there. I know if we just
Yeah,
let's get together and get it going.
it was
Well,
just
anyways,
trying to get the funding for it, the last part of it. Like when we actually sat down and ran my credit, I had to really get some things removed from it. But it's
yeah.
okay though. It should be removed in probably like a month or two. So we're gonna be green.
Well, that's what you got to do, man. Right? And here's
Yep.
the thing: starting out on your own, right? I'm going to tell you this. This is a great saying. It's hard to be poor, and it's hard to be rich. Choose your heart.
Yep.
Right? I mean,
100%.
you want it's going to be really hard to be poor all your life, right? You know it. I know it. It's also going to be really hard to be rich, right? Because
Yeah.
you got to go out and work. You got to make these decisions that no matter what happens, I am going to move forward, right? I
Yep.
am going to make this work regardless, right? And you have to have that no give up attitude, even when you face challenges, even when you face a loss, right?
Yep.
What most of us fail is to see the opportunity in the failure. So we often fail twice, right? On every failure, because we don't look at that failure as an opportunity.
Yeah.
We look at that as a failure, and we fail again because we don't correct it, or we don't look at that as an opportunity for something bigger. And Napoleon Bonaparte, I know Napoleon, but he was a famous saying of his was, most people don't understand that a failure is actually an opportunity. Most opportunities come, or no, the exact saying is most opportunities come disguised as small failures. So
Yep.
just, like guys, like that's part of the process is failing and learning and falling down and getting right back up. There's so much money and profit to be made in the real estate, so many ways to skin a cat in this game, right? So usually we come out pretty good on top, even when we fall down on this game. So that's what I like about real estate, and especially if you got some mentoring and some coaching, so you can learn from some past mistakes, man. It's a good
Yeah.
business to be in. It is. It's not
And to
easy,
bring,
dude. It's not easy, but
yeah.
okay.
And Tim, sorry to cut you off, man, but like to
No,
bring
please.
that back around, like to what you were saying is, when you have a significant other, right, and you're going on a new adventure, right? This adventure being starting a business, real estate investing, right? There's going to be those ups and downs. And, you get to choose kind of how you guys show up in those ups and downs, right? It's like, if you're both on the same page, you can absorb those downs together and celebrate those ups together versus,
Yeah.
you going down this path and having, some struggles, which everyone will, and,
Oh,
having the other person in your life saying, oh, I knew this wasn't going to work, right? So like that's
yeah.
not the thing you want. And for me personally, it's easier in my mind to do it alone from the standpoint of, you don't have anyone to answer to. You can put your blinders on, you can work as hard as long as you want. But in terms of what feels better, what's more rewarding, what will take you farther, that's being on the same page with your significant other. Absolutely. Yeah, and I don't know if I'm sure you probably agree with that, but that's my two
Yeah.
cents for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, great way to put it. You can definitely focus alone and stuff. I mean, there's, either way, it's worth it, right? I mean, it's
Yep.
worth it.
It's worth
Sylvester,
it
it's
either
worth
way,
it.
right? One's usually way more fulfilling and
Mm.
enjoyable than the other, for sure. But yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome, man. Well, tell us, obviously we know about the duplex. Kind of bring us up to speed. Like when you came into Rental Property Pro, what was your reason for joining? What was like, this is the place that I need to be, and kind of fill us in on like, how your journey started.
Yeah. Well, I think first things first is, I knew I needed mentorship, right? I was like, I was out there, I was making some offers, I was doing some
Yep.
analysis. on deals, and it was just a lot of noise. It was very unfocused. I didn't really know what I was doing. Right, like I just didn't really feel confident. I didn't have the confidence. I wasn't like, hey, yeah, I'm educated in this. I'm definitely, So I was
Yeah.
very shy, a little gun shy on as far as the rental side of things. And I'm like, you know what? Like I need mentorship. I need to get into a community or a group or have somebody that I can call up, rely upon. So I started seeking it out. I chose John. I chose you for a couple of different reasons. First and foremost, we gelled. Like we really, we had a couple of conversations before
Yeah.
I even came on as a student. Like you typically interview, and I talked directly to you before I actually became a student. And
Yeah. The old days.
We gelled really well. Yeah, the old days, and we gelled really well. And I loved all your free content. I was watching a lot of your free content at the time, and I loved it. I was like, man, look what this guy gives away for free. Like, imagine what his mentorship is like, right?
Yeah.
So I started looking into you, and I discovered that you invested in Connecticut, that you had some investments in my state. And I was like, oh, well, this is no brainer. Now I looked at a bunch of different programs and academies and mentorship programs, and
Yeah.
John's really on the surface and in reality, it turned out, thankfully, was the most genuine, right? Like at the end of the day, like John really genuinely wanted to just help his students get there. He had all the content and materials and stuff that I need, and I'm gassing you up a little bit, John, but you really did. I mean, it really was the best choice for me, logistically, personality wise. You and I just really get along well.
Yeah.
We're kind of we're very similar in a lot of ways, I think, and so it was just kind of a no brainer. I knew I needed mentorship. You were a great fit for me. It's been an amazing program. I've learned everything I've needed to do. I've gained the confidence. You've seen some of the stuff I've shared, guys. Like you can just go back and look at my old comments to know how I feel about the program and how it's worked for me. So yeah, there you go, man. I just want to thank you, man, because I'm at where I'm at today because of this program and what we've done here and what I've learned. And guys, I've more than doubled. I make more than I do in that W-2 job just doing this. I know that sounds a little crazy to not leave the other job, but I'm just trying to get just a little bit more ahead, and I've got 7 houses under construction at the moment. So as soon as some of those stop, right, like I get those back online. Really, this is my last year working a W-2 job, guys. I've more than doubled my salary through this program.
That's awesome, man. That's so huge. And, it's a testament, obviously, you're very smart. You got a spouse that supports you and is in the game with you. And, you had a deep desire to make a change. But more importantly, I mean, you know how to work hard, right? Like, you're going to run into issues. You're going to run into roadblocks, but you're just going to continue to work hard, knowing that ultimately you're going to get the result that you want if you work hard and long enough, right? And to that end, like, for any of like new investors that might be listening to this or wanting to, are a little nervous about kind of taking that step, like, those challenges, right? What advice would you give to, a new, real estate investor or rental property investor to kind of help them overcome those road bumps or those initial fears?
Good question. Stop saying I can't and start asking how can I, right? Because
Love it.
there's so many options out there for you. If you don't have good credit and you don't have a lot of cash in the bank, okay, look at seller financing and subject to. There's so many ways to answer that question rather than I just can't, or I don't have it, or I don't, or I can't, or I won't. You need to eliminate those from your vocabulary and from your language. And if you don't think that a mind shift, like a mindset shift, will change your life, I'm here to tell you that it will. Okay. Like, and from my own experience, for what I do in my life and everything like that, the mindset shift, just having that mind of abundance, versus a mind of scarcity. Or if I fail, that's failure, and I'm the worst, right? No, man. Now I look at failure as opportunity. I look at failure as learning. I look at any kind of failures as what can I improve and do better and get better and be on the other side of this, so I don't have to have a failure, right? So I can have wins, so I can just enjoy my wins. Now, obviously, you're going to have a mix of both, but you have to embrace the failures. What's that awesome quote that you love? Pain and all of its glory. I love that quote too. Here's to the pain and the glory it brings.
Yep.
right?
There you go.
So
Enjoy the journey,
um,
right?
enjoy the
That's
freaking journey, man,
yeah.
because it can be a whole lot worse. And just like you've said this before, and I love, and this was a huge thing for me is like, hey, I want to call my boss and be like, can I go to the dentist on Tuesday? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. God.
Like, can I have a day off of
Yeah.
my allotted time? May I? You know, like, no, man, I'm over that. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I work way too hard. You know, I got too much, brain power into this thing to have to ask somebody else for permission to live my own life. And
Yeah.
if anybody wants to say this is risky, this is what I have to say to you. You want to know what's really risky? Is putting all my eggs into somebody else's basket for 40 plus years in hopes that I'll have enough money to retire, right? In hopes that I'll have enough money to actually live on my own and feed
Yep.
myself. Never mind going on vacation or enjoying yourself at this point because you're 67, 68 years old and your bones hurt and you're tired and you've been working for 40 plus years, right? So, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is the risk, that's the real risk. Doing this and working 5 years for your own self into and working towards a retirement because you can retire in less than 5 years, really. But five
Yep.
years is about that's a good goal to set to be able to retire off of your real estate investment. So, guys, I'll bet on that all day long. I'll bet on me in 5 years all day long rather than you in 40 years, right? So,
Yep.
um, so I guess that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, and that's the perspective piece, right? It's like, depending on how you view life will depend on what you call risky, right? Or what you call a challenge, right? Like if I'm out there creating my own business or my own, way of life or what have you, like to me, the risk is minimal. The road bumps and speed bumps are minimal, right? Because, it's something that I own, right? I would much rather wake up every day stressed about something that I'm creating than wake up every day stressed about something that I'm creating for someone else, right? Like that's,
Totally.
people, are like, oh my God, my job's, so high stress or this or that. And it's like, man, why? Like you could just focus that stress on yourself. Why do it for someone
Exactly.
else,
Exactly.
which is
Mhm.
is funny, but that's awesome, man. I appreciate that. In terms of like for those of you for some of you might be listening to this, whether you're in rental property pro or not, like getting over that decision to join and kind of be part of the community here. Any kind of words of wisdom of like getting them over that hump or anything like that?
Yeah, I found all my lending through this program, right? Like the lending, that
Yeah,
was probably
that's
one of
huge.
my biggest challenges getting started in this was like, yeah, I have a couple bucks, but it's like I want to scale and I want to
Yep.
scale fast and I want to have access to cash and money and the lenders and MB Capital guys like John's introduction to me, Eric Maz has been everything for my business. Like because of that relationship, I've got an extra $200,000 of business credit that I can pull out anytime I need to close on these properties, do a fix and flip, pay it back, take my profit, and keep moving
Yep.
on and not touch any of my own cash, right? So like the funding part has been, huge. Learning how to go out and present myself for private money and stuff like that. Like that stuff is not something that you just kind of wake up and say, yeah, I know how to do that, right? Like, no, you need
Yep.
some training, right? Like you need to sit down. These are the best ways to do that. And I found private money through this program. I've got all the hard money I need through this program. I found $200,000 of business credit through this program. Guys, like this program really hooked it up as far as the funding goes. Now, you need a little bit of a credit score to do that. But at the end of the day, like it's so scalable. Like what Sylvester was saying, hey, I just had to take a couple of months to write a couple of things, and now I'm off to the races because I have access to
Yep.
all this money, and that's going to come, man. I'm telling you. So anybody on this, and again, even if I had a crappy credit score and no money, right? This program has 500 investors that I can go partner up with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, there's
Absolutely.
always a solution. Stop with the I can't. All right. There is always a solution if you're looking for it. If you're looking for failure, you will find it. All right. But
Yeah.
anyway.
And one thing, because I remember we'll talk about one of your first deals quick, but I remember um, you got funding through one of the hard money lenders inside of the program, and then I think you funded like the 10 or 15% down with a private money lender.
I did. Yep. And that's I met her through this program, and I was able to complete that 100% funding cycle.
Yeah,
but
I remember
I used two lenders, right? And I never knew I could do that, right? Like John's like, well, why not use a gap lender? I'm like, what the hell's a gap lender, John? So, and that was just 2 years ago, guys. So just in case anybody's thinking I've been doing this for 5+ years, I joined Rental Property Pro in February of 2023. So if you take it seriously and you just do the action items that is laid out for you in this program, you can easily get there, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Let's put that together for a second. So 2 years. 2 years has equated to what? 3 fix and flips, 6 rental properties, and a brand new construction business. Is that accurate, or have I missed? What have I missed?
I think you missed a couple of fix and flips in there. To be honest,
all right, fair enough.
No, that's about accurate. I think you're a little low on the fix and flips, at least too low on that one. But yeah.
Nice, man. So 5 fix and flips, 6 rental properties, and a brand new construction business, which is growing out of its shoes right now, basically. That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations. What have you been doing to celebrate all that success? We got to celebrate these wins outside of taking your kids to the water park. What else have you been doing?
Good question. So, we're doing small, like we're doing small victories, right? Like we haven't done anything too extravagant yet. The next, I think the real big extravagant is when the W-2 job ends.
Yeah.
We're gonna probably take a 2-week hiatus.
Nice.
That's kind of my plan, but
love that.
But other than that, we've done a lot of celebrating. Like we have a successful investment. We go out to dinner. We really love the Capitol Grill in Hartford. It's $200 a dinner for 2 people, but it's great. Like it's like we do it when it's celebrate time. It's our something we'd rather spend that money on our kids and stuff. But we do go out and we do some celebration when it warrants it. We've had some really good successes this last couple of years. So yeah, we've done some celebrating. Nothing too like we haven't gone on some big crazy vacation yet, but that's coming. We're planning it out. We've got everything kind of, we're lining up our ducks, and we plan on taking a very nice vacation this year. So.
I love it, man. Well, you're from the Northeast. You live in Connecticut, right? Obviously, at some point in time, we have to start looking at a second home in Florida. That's like your rite of passage.
No, for sure. I mean, that's the goal. Like, I want to have a home here. I'd like to have a home somewhere on the West Coast, and I'd love to have a home in Florida as well. Like those, especially in Florida. I've got friends and family in Florida, and there's like a lot. I've got some ties to Florida, so I would love to have a secondary home in Florida, and I will have a secondary home in Florida.
I love it, man. Well, we'll add that to the list of things to celebrate for sure.
Yeah, man.
Well, man, it's been awesome. Any closing words or anything you want to share with the people on the call, or anyone that might want to watch this about your journey or the program, or just anything in general?
Can I throw a statement in here real quick?
Sure. Is that Ellen? Sounds like
that's Ellen. Ellen, let's get in here.
Very, very important fact. She's one of the best coaches you ever had.
I would say he's my best coach that I've ever had. Better than I am. He has way more patience.
No. Just an extension of John. That's all.
Thank you, Ellen. And I know how much you and Tim have worked together, and I know he's supported you through a lot of this first property that you're working on. So absolutely, he's spectacular for sure.
I've had a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun working with you guys. And that's and you can have fun doing this, and that's what I love about this business is that you don't have to have some extensive background. Like I don't have to go to 4 years of college or have some crazy degree. Like you can jump right into this, right? And especially with a mentorship program like this, like you have a leg up. Like you have a real serious leg up when you have a program like this. So use it, guys. If you have access to one-on-one calls and you're not totally abusing that program, that's your fault.
Yeah,
like, I'm sorry to say, but that's your bad. Like, so get on it. Like, nobody's going to care about this business as much as you do. And I say that a lot because it is true. So, get on that horse, start making it happen, because all it takes is a little bit of action. Like you don't need to be perfect. Imperfect action will get you there so much faster than waiting for perfection. In fact, you won't even get off the couch if you're waiting for perfection. It'll never happen. So
Yep.
just making action is going to get you a lot quicker. We'll figure things out. Like for those of you who are like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to fund this. We'll get the house under contract, right? And do what
Figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, right? Make a low EMD so that way we're okay with if it falls apart, and we can go and do it again. Again, failures are opportunities, so we don't ever look at those things as failures. We look at them as teaching moments, or the stepping stone that got me to the next one. So, do you think I haven't failed throughout this process, guys? I do, and I still do. I order stuff wrong all the time. You've heard me say this on my construction calls. Like, oh, what do you do when you order the wrong material? Well, I do it all the time, so I just deal with it. I screw it up and I deal with it. I return it and I get the right stuff on. You just can't give up. You never throw your hands up, and you just you get it done, man. Anyways, I feel like I'm just rambling on a little bit now, John.
Yeah, you're good, man. But it's true. Like, I think, you guys, I think in some, as newer investors, right? Like you might look at Tim and I and say, oh, well, it's so easy for you guys because of, where you're at in your investing career. And you're right. It is definitely easier for us now. At the same time, we started exactly where you were, right? With probably less knowledge than you guys have available to you, where you're at that standpoint. And, when I tell you, don't worry about the money, just find a great deal. Like, I mean, the first 5 or 10 deals that I did, I had no idea where the money was coming from before I put them under contract. And then, I was like, up to 5 days before closing, still hammering phones trying to find people to fund it. And, it just works out. It's just all about how hard you're willing to work to make a change in your life, man. And you've done that for yourself, and you've obviously are reaping the benefits from all of that. And man, I'm super proud of all you've done, and very thankful that you've included me in this journey to being a coach or the construction business. So dude, it's been an awesome adventure, and I can't wait to just continue to see you succeed, man.
Thanks, man. I owe a lot of it to you, man. I really do. Like, it takes a lot of hard work, sure, but having a great mentor like you really spend the difference, man. So thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you. And you're the one to put in the hard work. I just made sure you didn't do anything too stupid along the way.
Screw it up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Love it, man.
Well, man, it has been an absolute pleasure, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be dropping this call inside of the Facebook group once we get it edited and rendered, so it'll be available to you guys. We'll also upload it onto the training center. And as always, as Tim said, make sure you're getting the one-on-one coaching calls scheduled weekly, just to make sure you're on path with everyone and making sure that you're having success and allowing us as coaches to support you in that. Other than that, guys, it is Friday. Have an amazing weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Other than that, I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Congrats.